All right, so I'm not gonna lie to you. I was having a really not good time around this time last year. I was going through a major shift in my academic and career trajectory. I was feeling really homesick, and I had a lot of other personal stuff going on. But a kind friend reached out to me and was like, hey, you should do something healthy like powerlift, and then you can get out of this. Me, a powerlifter, squats, benches, deadlifts, you must be out of your mind. That's not me, that's not what I do. But I like hanging out with this friend, so I was like, sure, let's give it a shot. And powerlifting ended up being something that I really enjoyed to do. So I gave it a shot, even went so far as to buy a pretty pink belt and go to my first powerlifting competition. And not only did it help me develop strength-wise, but it also helped change me and help me grow as an individual. So I wanted to take some time today to talk to you about what I've learned about leadership through powerlifting. And I can summarize these in SBD: slow down, be vulnerable, and don't settle. So let's take a little bit of time and explore these themes together. And I think the first thing that's really important to talk about is slowing down. In powerlifting, it's really important to take your time because if you rush, you might end up hurting yourself, and you need to give sufficient rest in between each lift to be able to lift the next one properly and to be able to go heavier. If you're competing, it means you're sitting around maybe for hours at a time waiting for your chance to go up. And that takes a lot of patience. To just sit there and sit in that discomfort takes a lot of mental strength to be able to do that. But by being able to take that time, you're able to recalibrate and adjust to the situation as it comes along. And I think that this is really important because when you learn to be patient, you learn to trust the process. If you've established a good process and a good procedure, whether it's chalking up before your first big deadlift, or if you're trying to make change in the organization that you're in, learning to trust the process to reach that goal, I think, is really important. And it gives you space to really think and listen to what others are saying. And when you're taking that in, you're able to also take the time to strive to create lasting solutions that can really make a difference. So, slow down. I also really think it's important to be vulnerable. When I walk into the co-rec, I know I'm not the strongest person in the room. Actually, far from it. And I know that that's also okay. I don't have to be lifting the heaviest weights in that room in order to still enjoy this activity. But I also realize that it takes a lot of vulnerability to do so. I'm not the best looking lifter. I look goofy when I do it, but I also know that that means that there's room for me to grow. There's room for me to improve and opportunities that I can take from that. But it can only stem from allowing myself to be vulnerable and to be in that space with my dorky pink belt. I also think that the best leaders demonstrate vulnerability as well. We're fallible, we're flawed, and we're human. And we're goofy looking half the time, right? But we allow ourselves to grow when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable. And I think that's an important tenet. It's so important you hear it twice today. But I also think you can develop trust, empathy, honesty, and love by allowing yourself to be vulnerable. By taking that first step, it allows others to do the same, and you continue to build good relationships with the people you work with. And I think that goes a long way for leaders to be able to embrace that vulnerability. And lastly, don't settle. If it's your first tennis tournament when you're like 7 years old or the first time you're powerlifting, I think it's important to set goals, reach them, and then use that to set new goals and move forward. So it also helps you push and realize what you're capable of when you refuse to settle and you look towards better and greater things. You can reach new heights when you refuse to settle and when you push yourself to do better while also remembering your boundaries and taking care of yourself. But I also think it translates to leadership too. If you don't settle, you have opportunity to celebrate your achievements, and you also have an opportunity to use them as the foundation to do something even better. You can take the Parks and Recreation Leslie Knope attitude and continue to grow and build on yourself and build on your achievements. And I think that this is how leaders can help implement lasting change. When you don't settle, when you take the time to challenge yourself, you can really start to approach things in a creative way, and you can help to implement lasting, accessible, and inclusive solutions that actually make a meaningful difference.